Okay folks, so video number 4, so we're going to look at some different hitting combinations. So the last couple of videos we've looked at defensive shapes and how to turn. We did mess around with the hits in there a little, but there are more elaborate things we can do. So again, neutral stance to start, just to make it nice and easy. So we know our basic is just our chain punch. So normally works if you're doing combinations, either doubles or triples, depending on what you're working on. A basic change you can make to that is have one of those shots go underneath. So if you hit and your arm gets pushed up, you're not going to try and go over, you're going to go under. Because we don't tend to train that, that can be quite tricky to do. So you can just have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, etc. So again, mess around with it as you want to. We can also change the height of those hits. So the common one I'll do is high, low, high, high, low, high. But again, you can mess with that. You can go low, high, 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 low, low. And again, be wary of, or be mindful of whether you're going over or under. Because there's pretty much a legitimate way you can find to rationalise why you're doing either. So you could go low, under low, because if you hit someone low, it's very likely you're going to get pushed upwards. Under low, over to go back high again. So you've got 2 targets, 2 heights, triple hit, varying whether you go over or under. So already we've got a lot of options of what you can do. You can then add in double hits as well. So hitting both hands at the same time. So the basic technique is to hit to those high and low targets, pull the hands away just in front of the chest, swap them over and back in. So you pull back in and double punch. So if you want to work those as a triple, that can just be done in sets of 3. With all of those, the obvious place to then take it is to change the hand shapes. So you could simply change your triple punch to a triple palm. I'd recommend going through however many variations you've got, changing it to something wholesale. So you do palms for all of them, or chantails for all of them, or whatever you're going to do. Once you can do that, think of ways to mix and match. So, simple example, punch over the top, palm underneath, punch back over. Palm low, punch high, punch high. Do a variation on the same thing, palm low, punch high from underneath. Same with the doubles. You can do double hits as we've done. You can do hit and palm, giant sound palm, etc. There's a load of ways you can play with it, and it all just makes you more flexible because you don't have to think about what you're doing with your arms once you're thinking about something more complex like getting punched in the face. So there's a load of ways you can use that. Once you've got those different hitting techniques going in, see if you can plug those back into the 7 hand shapes that we did with or without turns. Again, we're getting to the point where we've got not quite infinite material, but there is a lot of scope for different combinations in there. Find ones you like, run them a lot. That's always great because that's it's quite engaging to do if you find a technique you particularly like. Do try and keep in mind what the opponent is doing, so don't just run them for the sake of doing them. Try and have them have a distinct application in your head, and try and change up as often as you can. So they bang that drum again when it's easy, switch out and do something else. Basically, have fun with it. There's a lot of scope to do stuff in there.